September 27, 2025. This is Karur, Tamil Nadu. A political rally swells into chaos, a stampede starts, and within minutes, over 39 lives are lost. And this is not an isolated incident, it's a pattern that's been emerging across India. 2025 has seen many stampedes, and this is across railway stations, cricket stadiums, political rallies. And these are in places where you would expect stampedes to happen, right? So you could be at a railway station going on with your regular life, and a stampede could happen and your life could suddenly be in danger. So the question is this: why do peaceful gatherings descend into chaos? Why does one fainted person or a broken barrier cause such massive loss of lives? Is there a pattern? Is there a science behind these incidents happening in India? And this is not a lecture, it's a story. Let's look at some of these incidents, feel the tension, understand why these things keep happening in our country. Because honestly, nobody should die waiting for water, waiting for a train, or just watching a cricket match. So the thing is, stampedes aren't freak accidents. There's a pattern behind all this. To really understand this, let's look at some incidents deeply. Let's start with the Karur incident that recently happened in Tamil Nadu. So this incident was a political rally by actor turned politician Vijay. Now, tens of thousands of people had shown up to the incident, and the place couldn't accommodate so many people. Now, Vijay had arrived 6 hours late. People had climbed trees to try and see him. They rushed barricades, and in this process, a stampede started and 39 people died. So putting the politics of this incident aside, the problems were quite clear. You had overcrowding, mismanagement, and delays in arrival. So take the Prayagraj Kumbh Mela incident. At 2:30 am in the morning, people were bathing at the Sangam Ghats. And it was extremely dark. People didn't know where to go after taking baths. The roads were extremely crowded. And once the baths were done, some people tripped on dustbins, people fell into the water, people tripped on barricades, right? And then the crowd crush started. According to estimates, there were over 40 deaths and 60 injuries. So what's the culprit here? Insane overcrowding. Another famous one was the RPL IPL celebrations. Again, the same story. You had huge crowds coming in for the celebrations. There was bad mismanagement at the gates. Too many people were let in. People jumped fences trying to get into the stadium. And again, what happened? A crowd crush. So again, over 11 deaths occurred during this incident, and something that was meant to be a celebration turned into a disaster. So different cities, but the same deadly outcome. It's the same pattern. And what happens after these incidents? The news cycles flare up, politicians offer compensation, the government offers compensation, and after a while, everybody forgets. In our country, we treat every stampede like it's the first one. There's some kind of a long-term memory loss about this. So what's broken? Why does this happen? Why does the same pattern repeat year over year in our country? So what we typically assume is that panics cause stampedes. We assume somebody in the crowd panicked, or we assume they tripped over something and pushed somebody else, and that's how stampedes start. However, crowd science tells us that the reason for stampedes doesn't lie in panic. The answer is in physics. Imagine yourself at a concert. There are thousands of people surrounding you. You're shoulder to shoulder with people all around you. Now suddenly one person starts pushing, right? Now all of a sudden, you have no control over your motion. Everybody is pushing you from either side, and it's like the force of nature, right? This is called a crowd crush, where people all around you just start crushing you and there is nothing you can do about it. And what's insane is that even at 6 to 7 people per square meter, even breathing becomes difficult. And you combine that with India's realities, the extreme heat, the large amounts of people, the crowded spaces, the lack of control at gates. You are just waiting for a disaster to happen. But crowd physics alone doesn't kill you. It's human systems, or rather the lack of them. In most events in India, there is no plan for proper crowd management. Police are often understaffed. Barricades are badly designed. Communications break down. And then there's accountability. After the Karur incident, people were promised investigations. After the Delhi railway incident, people were promised safety audits. After the Kumbh incident, people again were promised safety audits and investigations. But think about it, was anyone actually held accountable? Sure, there will be scapegoats where, you find some public official or bureaucrat, a low-level bureaucrat accountable, you punish them, and the media forgets after a while and people forget after a while. But is any senior politician or any senior official ever held accountable? Are they ever punished? And this shouldn't be normal. Other countries also face this problem and solve them. For example, take Saudi Arabia and the Hajj problem. During Hajj, you have millions of people visiting a single location. You have extreme, insane levels of crowd gathering at one place, right? But the country uses technology like AI-based crowd management to ensure the crowd moves smoothly. So why doesn't this happen in India? The reason it's done there is not because the government there especially cares about its people, right? Let's be real. The reason it's done is because the government there has realized that the cost of prevention is a lot less than the cost of accountability. So what's the big reveal here? It's simple, right? India hasn't prioritized this. If the cost of accountability here was so high that politicians would want to prevent this at any cost, this wouldn't be happening. It's just that nobody cares in India at the moment. Now, every time we hear about incidents like this, people say, 40 to 60 people died, or, over 100 people died, or whatever. These numbers can feel distant, but there is a real human cost attached to this. Take the Karur incident, right? There was a young man who went for a political rally who didn't come back home. There were children who were there at the rally who didn't go back home. You take the Delhi train incident. There were people who wanted to go to work. There were people who were traveling by train to Prayagraj and they never went back home. So each of these incidents has a human cost attached to it. It could really be anyone. It could be you or me in the headlines next. And that's exactly why we should care. Can you send your parents to a temple tomorrow and be at peace? Can you travel to work by train and know that you'll go back home to your children at night? Stampedes aren't fate. They're preventable, and that's exactly why the situation is so sad. The problem is nobody cares right now in India, and we should be treating this as a national emergency. Let's be honest here. I don't want to offer solutions here simply because that's typically what you do in a YouTube video at the end. The reality here is that this is not a priority for our politicians right now. When 40 people or 50 people die, politicians tend to simply offer compensation, say 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, whatever, right? And once the media attention is gone, the topic just subsides. People stop caring. When there's no political will, things simply don't happen. And that's the missing piece here. It's the political will to actually change something about this. We shouldn't be treating stampedes as an isolated incident. We know there's a clear pattern here. We know exactly how to stop it. The question is, do we care? Do consider giving this video a like, and if you like similar socio-political content, do consider subscribing to my channel. Also, if you'd like to watch more of my content, you can do so with the links that you see here. Thank you.